thumping wall in the toll house. Back in 2008, I used to date a girl who lived in Abergavenny, South Wales, UK. This is a very old Welsh market town with various old buildings and a vast ancient history. Anyway, my ex, let's call her C, used to live in this old toll house with her sister and mother on the corner of what used to be the main road many hundreds of years ago. It has the classic Tudor look, with exposed black timber beams crisscrossing white painted stone walls. Although the house had extensive renovation in the early 1900s, the site of the toll house and layout had remained unchanged for several hundred years. The downstairs lounge room was set quite low into the ground, with the house effectively built on an embankment, meaning the rear wall of the lounge was under the natural ground level. C would mention how behind the rear wall in the lounge there used to be an old access tunnel that led to the nearby castle some 500 m away, the ruins of which are still there. The tunnel had collapsed hundreds of years ago, and the entrance to the tunnel boarded over. This rear wall even had the remains of the tunnel's stone entryway archway as a feature, but was blocked off beyond a single layer of masonry. It was common in medieval times for monks at monasteries and castles to use access tunnels to travel in and out of the grounds and out of the townships. Anyway, the collapsed tunnel behind the lounge room wall always used to intrigue me, as it always had a cold draft, no matter what time of day it was, which I never thought much of. That was until strange things started to happen. The first curious event that occurred was when I wasn't there. I was on the phone to C one evening, chatting away about our days at school, and any other rubbish 15-16 years old talk about. Suddenly, mid-sentence, I heard a whoosh, and a loud bang, and C let out of a tiny yelp on the other end of the phone. Silence. I asked if she was okay. She eventually, after about 5 seconds of deafening silence, responded shakily, "Yes, but my science textbook just flew off my shelf from across the room at me," and then brushed it off as if it was nothing. "Wait, what?" I asked her, to which C replied, "Yeah, it happens all the time. My house is very haunted." She was very casual about it, and I found that quite comforting, considering I was staying there that coming weekend. But it also made me think, this is normal for her? Nothing happened for some time, but one evening, about 2 months later, we were sat watching TV in the lounge downstairs, and I heard what sounded like her little sister shuffling around upstairs. "How long has your sister been home?" I asked, to which C replied, "She isn't home yet, nobody is. She just texted me." We looked up at the ceiling above as we clearly heard more shuffling footsteps on the upstairs level, creaking the floorboards. The footsteps sounded almost muffled, and almost soft, like someone who has only just woken up. Hard to explain, but definitely footsteps. We were both very creeped out, but went up the stairs to check no one had broken in via the rear window. A burglar had come in via that window recently. We found absolutely no one there, and all windows and doors closed. We went into C's bedroom and closed the door behind us, leaving it slightly ajar, and sat quietly trying to see if we could hear the footsteps again. After several minutes of sitting in the quiet, uneasy atmosphere, we decided to go head back downstairs, as we heard nothing. The next thing that happened is something I will never forget. As I approached the bedroom door, I reached out the handle to gently push it open. The door was only open a sliver, and not on the latch. As my hand was about to clasp the door handle, the door slammed in my face with the loudest bang ever, like someone had shoulder barged it from the opposite side. Instinctively, I tried to turn the door handle to open the door, but I could feel the force of someone trying to turn against me. The knob turned with some resistance, as if someone was holding it, but then it snapped back to close with force. The only way I can describe it is like an actual person was on the other side of the door playing a prank on us, and holding the doorknob as hard as they could and leaning all of their body weight into the door itself. I could even hear the old timber door creaking under the pressure of something pushing it hard, from the other side. Then suddenly, after a few seconds, the resistance disappeared. I turned the doorknob and the door swung open freely. There is absolutely no way a person would have done that and then hidden somewhere in the house that quickly. We rushed from room to room and found no one hiding. All windows closed and the front door still locked from the inside. It suddenly occurred to me that as I was closing the door before it slammed, the sliver of light from the ajar door was gone. It was pitch black, as if it was the dead of night on the landing or something very dark and translucent was blocking the light coming through the gap in the door from floor to ceiling. The image of this still creeps me out to this day. From then on, things literally started to go bump in the night. One night I stayed over in the guest room and got up for a pee at around 3 a.m. Toilets downstairs. When I was heading back to the base of the stairs, I heard a loud thump from the lounge room. I stared into the pitch black beyond the old crooked doorway leading into the lounge room. I could tell the thump was coming from the rear wall, like someone's fist softly hitting a hollow plasterboard wall. As if someone or something was behind the hollow wall, where the collapsed tunnel entrance was. I stood there in frozen shock. Thump. 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 My eyes watering with pure fear like I've never experienced before. I then bolted upstairs and woke up C. We sat on her bedroom floor listening to this thumping going on for what seemed like 30 minutes or so, getting slower and softer, and eventually disappearing. I'm sure other events happened there that I didn't notice. Her mum used to drink a lot and tell us vague stories of the moaning she had heard from behind the lounge room wall most nights. I even saw C's bedroom door open behind her on webcam on its own, and her mirror getting thrown off her wall and smashing on the ground. Whatever was in that house had a sad but sinister feeling to it. We broke up not so long afterwards and I never went back there. But I did drive past the house recently, some 16 years later, and it gave me the chills like nothing else in a long time.